Hi, my name is Barry Sterling Mitchell. I produce the Sterling Net Point Power Rankings and the Bias Plus Reports. Today is September 17th, 2025, and this is Ben and Barry on football.
What's happening out there, everybody? This is your co-host. I am Ben Dickerson. I want to do something right off the bat, Barry. I want to let you know I don't even want to take the chance of forgetting and mentioning it. I was 81% last week, 13-3 on my picks. One of the best weekends I've had since we've been doing this, bro. I was so proud of myself. I did really, really well, extremely well. And I was confident about all my picks. Got that. And New York Yankees. I'm not exactly sure how many games are left. They're in second place in the division behind Toronto, 5 games back. Still got a chance to win the division. Should do well in the playoffs. My New York Liberty, 1 game up on the Phoenix Mercury in the best of three series. Game two is tonight in Brooklyn. Let's go.
Yeah, my Aces took a L last night, tied up the series.
It was a bad one, too.
Uh, well, I mean, that's a good team they're playing. I mean, them ladies ain't no joke. So
True.
I got to give it to them. I was 56% for last week on the Bias Plus reports.
I was 81%, 13-3.
Nice. Very good.
Yes, sir.
Very good. Very good. Now, Ben, you
Yep.
didn't have anything to do with Molly Qerim quitting
Who?
the show.
Me?
Because I know you're not a fan of hers.
I mean, I didn't have nothing against her. It wasn't like I didn't like her. She's pretty inconsequential to me, if you ask me. She tried too hard to insert herself into the show, if you ask me, but
Well, I remember you saying things like that, and then all of a sudden, she abruptly left the show, and
uh-huh.
so that was pretty interesting how all of a sudden that happened. But we are going to jump right into the Bias Plus reports, Benny. We got it ready, and we're going to jump right on it. All right, Benny, we're going to start the game off. The game. The show off with the Dolphins at the Bills. Now, Benny, the Dolphins, let's see here, are not doing real good right now. Where's Miami at here? They are ranked 31st in average net points at minus 15.5. They're 25th in scoring with putting up 17 and a half points per game. And they're 31st in defense, allowing 33 points per game, and 31st in turnover differential at -2.
That's rough.
Oh man, tell me about it. Now they're gonna have to go up against those Bills. And let's see here. The Bills, fourth in net points at plus 10 and a half, second in scoring at 35.5 points per game.
Mm-hmm.
And that's second. They are where they at on defense. Now, they are 22nd on defense, allowing 25 points per game. So a little surprised, but
Plus, that's most of that's from that first game. It's a residual from that first game.
yeah. And where are they at? They are fourth in average turnover differential, tied with the Chargers, Philly, and Tennessee at +1.
Okay.
So the bias plus score is 38, favoring the Bills.
All right. Well, sir, let's see. Looks like the Bills are going to be at home. Let's talk about the visiting Dolphins. What happened to the Dolphins last week? Wow. Quarterback Tua Tagovailoa was super frustrated after the team's embarrassing loss to the Colts last week, and he obviously tried to make amends. After the Patriots jumped out to a 12-0 lead in the first quarter, Tua led 2 drives that ended with touchdown passes, one to Jalen Waddle, one to running back Devin Achane. That was before halftime. He kept throwing the ball really well for most of the second half, but he couldn't find the end zone. He moved the ball, he put up numbers, could not find the end zone. But Malik Washington ran back a punt to take back the lead from Miami in the fourth quarter, only to have the Patriots return the ensuing kickoff for the fourth lead change in the half.
Was that
And
crazy
Miami
or
could,
what?
and then Miami could not respond after that. Now, the Bills, not a whole lot to say about the Bills in the Jets game. James Cook led the way on the ground. Josh Allen game managed the Bills to an easy 30-10 victory. This one's a no-brainer for me. I got to go Bills.
So the bias plus for the Falcons at Panthers, bias plus score of 31 favors the Falcons. Now Atlanta Ben is 8th in net points at plus 6.5. And in terms of, let's see, they are second in defense, allowing only 14.5 points per game, and second in average turnover differential at plus 1.5. Offensively, they're putting up 21 points per game. They're ranked 21st. So that's as opposed to Carolina, which is ranked 27th at minus 10.5 average net points. And again, the averages can either be positive or negative. Carolina is 29th in scoring, putting up 16 points per game. They're 23rd in average points against at giving up 26.5 points per game. So you can kind of see why the Falcons are favored to that level.
Right. Okay. Well, let me see. 23rd. That's a big swing defensively. The Falcons played a really good defensive game last week, so that's a big 1 week swing there, I'm sure. But anyway, the Panthers will be the home team in this one. I really thought Bryce Young and the Panthers were going to show me some improvement this season. I've spoken to you about Bryce Young and how he finished last season, and I really thought he was going to be on the up and up. Didn't pan out last week, and in fact, they went out like chumps against Jacksonville back in week 1. They looked just as bad last Sunday, going down 27-3 to the Cardinals with 9 minutes left in the third quarter. But then all of a sudden, they started showing signs of life. Bryce Young led the Panthers on 3 consecutive drives and ended each one with a touchdown pass to cut the lead to 27-22 with 1:58 left in regulation. Then they recovered an onside kick that gave them a legitimate chance to pull out a comeback win, but they couldn't finish it off. Unfortunate, but a valiant effort. Now the Falcons traveled to Minneapolis to play the Vikings last week, and they dog walked the Vikings defense up and down their own field. Michael Penix Jr. didn't have the greatest of games, but he did move the ball between the 20s seemingly at will. Bijan Robinson had a big game. He ran the ball 22 times for 143 yards, and Tyler Algier tacked on 67 more and ran in the only touchdown of the game. New kicker Parker Romo actually kicked 5 field goals to round out the scoring for them. And the defense was pretty dominant. They held Minnesota to 236 total yards, 4 takeaways, 6 sacks, 5 turnovers for loss. So the Vikings couldn't get anything going. I'm going to say, and this is an NFC South matchup, and even though the Panthers did show some signs of life, and even though they are at home, I believe the Falcons have found a little something on defense that nobody knew they had. And I believe they're going to go in there and they're going to beat Carolina. So I'm going to go with the Falcons and the bias.
Going with the bias. Going with the Falcons. All right. Let's see here. Well, you were just talking about the Vikings. Bengals at Vikings. Bias plus score of 17 favors the Bengals. We got 2 backup quarterbacks coming in, Benny. And one of them is named Wentz.
We've been talking him up. We've been talking him up. I didn't know it was going to be this soon, but
I talked to our buddy Ron Diggs. He's a Vikings fan, and he's like all bummed out with Wentz. And I'm like, well, wait a minute now. If Mac and Cheese can have a good game, and Danny Dimes can have a good game, maybe Wentz could. He's like, no, not going.
no faith, no faith at all.
None at all. So the rankings and stuff, I don't know how what's the word I'm looking, whether they're going to really be viable, because these are going to be completely different teams with these different quarterbacks. So I'm going to leave that alone right now and just go straight to you. What do you think?
Okay. Well, we just were talking about the Vikings a minute ago, so I'll finish up with that. Start with them rather. They're at home again. And I'm sure the Vikings will hope to redeem themselves with their home fans this weekend, because last weekend was very embarrassing. They kicked 2 field goals in the second quarter of their game against Atlanta. That was all they could muster. And their defense got trashed. So that's all I got to say about that. Doesn't look good for the Vikings. The Bengals, on the other hand, got the win over Jacksonville, but it was a costly win. Jake Browning had to take over for Joe Burrow, who was injured in the second quarter, and now it's being reported, I believe it's being reported that he has turf toe. I think Purdy's got turf toe too, so this is a rash of turf toes here all of a sudden. I don't know what's going on.
Man, apparently there's different levels of turf toe.
Yeah, because
He's got
one, they
like one
call
of
it
the
turf
worst
toe
ones.
variant.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know. But it's a bad injury regardless, but it's worse if he needs surgery. And I think they're talking surgery for Burrow. Offensively, the Bengals struggled a bit with the Jags defense. And after Burrow went down, Browning actually threw 3 interceptions. But the Jags only took advantage of one of them. And the Bengals held on and won the game 31-27. I don't have much hope for the Vikings, even with JJ McCarthy. Um, I got to go Bengals on this one. Going with the bias again, I guess.
All right. Going with the bias, going with the Bengals. Here we go. Colts at Titans. Bias plus score of 28 favors the Colts. Yeah. Titans is struggling a little bit. Colts is just still living off the first game to some degree with their relative to the points. But can't be too mad at them. I mean, they're getting it done. They're getting it done. There's your boy Danny Dimes, right?
I'm not mad at him at all.
Well, look, you've
Not
been
at
backing
all.
him. You've been backing him. So, what you got on this one?
Yeah, he's basically he's finally showing what Dayball and them what the Giants saw, but couldn't quite get on track. You know what I'm saying? But I'm happy for the young man. Anyway, spoke of the Titans being a little under duress. Last Sunday was Tennessee's home opener. First time Cam Ward got to play in front of his home crowd. 2 field goals in a nice second quarter, 10-play, 56-yard drive that ended with a Ward touchdown, gave the Titans a 10-3 halftime lead. Yay. Unfortunately for them, the Rams' much superior offense finally put it in gear, and Tennessee got buried in the avalanche 33-19. Now, before I talk about their game, I want to give kudos to the Colts head coach Shane Steichen, who was the Super Bowl winning coach, offensive coordinator, excuse me, with the Philadelphia Eagles. Shane Steichen knows offense, man. I like this guy. And I'm giving him kudos because he understands the assignment. First off, he makes sure his star running back, Jonathan Taylor, gets his touches. And secondly, it seems like he's unlocked the talent in Daniel Jones and somehow meshed it perfectly with his offensive schemes. That's why the Colts are surprisingly playing as well as they are. Well, maybe not surprisingly to everybody, but it's a little surprising to me. They kept the score close with the Denver Broncos. They pulled out a 1-point victory with no time left when they were forced to attempt a 60-yard field goal to try to win the game with 3 seconds left. They missed the field goal, but they got another chance after Denver committed a leverage foul and got penalized 15 yards and an automatic first down. Kicker Spencer Schrader then converted the 45-yarder for the win. Good job by him. And got to go with the bias again and take the Colts.
You and the bias all rolling together so far, right?
So far.
All right, let's see who we got next. Packers at Browns. Bias plus score 34 favors the Packers. People don't know what to do with the Packers all of a sudden. It's like, are they the Super Bowl favorites in the NFC now? Or what?
I mean, some people could look at it that way. I don't know, but well, let's see. Oh, they got to go on the road. They got to go to Cleveland. So the Packers beat Washington Commanders last week on Thursday Night Football. They won the game 27-18. That's 2 games in a row scoring 27 points and 2 wins in a row against 2024 NFC playoff teams. Very impressive. And yes, to answer my own question from last week, the Packers D is that good. They barely let the Washington offense move at all in the first quarter and didn't allow them to find the end zone until garbage time of the fourth quarter. Boom. Oh, yeah. Offensively, the Pack was led by Jordan Love and running back Josh Jacobs. Oh, and also second-year tight end Tucker Kraft had a great game. You're going to be hearing a lot about that guy in the near future. Got to like the Packers here. I don't think the Browns stand a chance of being able to stop these dudes.
They going with the bias, going with the Packers. Man, I did have a conversation with my son. It wasn't helpful though.
Oh, did you?
Oh yeah. Because he rolled up to drop something off to me with the Eagle jersey on. I'm like, dude, this is why everybody's talking, you know? Then he starts to hand me how he's from Philly and then Philly.
We don't want to hear that.
Get out of here.
When did he become all of a sudden such a Philadelphia lover? You know what I'm saying?
Probably when they won the Super Bowl. No. You know how that goes.
Again, that makes it corny.
Yes, I know. All right. Texans at Jaguars.
Mm-hmm.
Man, bias plus score 17 favors the Jags. What's going on with those Texans, man?
Well, the Jags are home. They were up 14-7 over the Bengals last week when Joe Burrow got injured and left the game in the second quarter. They went into halftime. They were still up 17-10, thanks to 3 scoring drives engineered by Trevor Lawrence. 2 were touchdown passes, and 1 was a field goal. In the third quarter, the Bengals scored to tie, and the Jags were able to score and hold the lead for most of the second half, but they never pulled away, and eventually they lost to the Bengals 31-27. They put up a good fight, but they got beat by a backup quarterback who came in and played the last 3 quarters of the game and got them. So I got to look at them a little funny on that one. Now, the Texans, let's talk about them. After a C.J. Stroud touchdown pass to Nico Collins on the game's opening drive, along with a field goal, the Texans were ahead of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers 10-7 at the end of the first quarter. The Bucs scored midway through the second quarter to go up 14-10, and then both teams traded punts through the rest of the second quarter and almost all of the third. Punt. It was a punt fest. Before, that was up until the Bucs attempted but missed a field goal with 1:05 left just before the beginning of the fourth quarter. Once the fourth quarter began, the Texans blocked a punt, turned that into a field goal. That left them down 14-13. Then the defense forced a 3-and-out and turned the 53-yard punt return into a 2-play touchdown drive on a 25-yard run by Nick Chubb. Up 19-14, they went for 2 to extend their lead to 7, but the conversion failed. That left the door open with 2:04 left in regulation for the Bucs to win with a touchdown, which is exactly what they did. and they beat them 20-19. It's been a tough beginning of the season for the Texans, but I think they get it together on the road against Jacksonville. I'm going against the bias, and I'm going to take the Texans.
No, Desi was happy.
I was.
Well, with the Bucks win, absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. All right. So you're going against the bias for the first time. Going with the Texans. All right.
I feel like the bias is just catching up with me after last week.
Oh, could be. Could be. You know. Jets. There you go. Talking about those Buccaneers again. Bias plus score of 17 favors the Bucks. Your boy Fields is out with a concussion. And in the back of my mind, that old saying, I know a lot of good young running quarterbacks. I don't know a lot of good old running quarterbacks.
What they say.
That's what they say. But the Bucks are favored. Who you got?
Okay, Bucks are favored. Bucks are at home. So now that you know the basic scenario of the Bucks win over the Houston Texans that I just told you about, let me give you some details on how they earned the win. Although scoring points in the second half seemed to be coming at a premium, Tampa did dominate the time of possession. They also had more total yards, twice as many first downs, and far better third down efficiency. They just were playing better. They weren't scoring, but they were playing better than the Texans. The biggest issue for both teams was putting the ball in the end zone in the second half, obviously. The Bucks will be hosting the Jets, who got their heads handed to them by the Bills last week. That was a score of 30-10. They really didn't have much of a chance in this game. They struggled to move the ball on the ground and through the air. Justin Fields lost a fumble, got sacked twice, and got concussed in the fourth quarter. Tyrod Taylor took over and finally threw a touchdown pass, but he also was sacked twice, and it just did absolutely nothing to slow down the Bills. I got to go with the Buccaneers here. I think the Jets are in for a couple bad weeks, man. They're not looking too good.
I know. It's going to be back to the same old Jets, Jets. The only team I had any family.
That's the way it's looking.
Say that again?
I said that's the way it's looking.
That's the way it's looking for sure. All right, here we go. Steelers at Patriots. Now here we have a decent bias plus that's not too one-sided, a 5.5 favoring the Patriots.
This one might be tough to call here.
Yeah, because Aaron wasn't real happy last, especially with that screw up. I'll let you talk about it.
Yeah, let's talk about the Patriots first. They're going to be at home. They have the bias. Drake made 3 touchdown passes on the Patriots' first 2 drives of the game. One to Mac Hollins, one to Kayshon Boutte, who's a pretty good receiver. If you don't know about Kayshon Boutte, take a look at him. He's pretty good. Somehow, after both touchdowns, kicker Andy Borregales, I wanted to make sure I spoke. I'm sorry, I can't even talk right. Somehow, kicker Andy Borregales missed both extra point tries. I don't know how he did that, but he did. After a slow start, the Dolphins battled back and kept the score close until mid-fourth quarter when they took the lead 27-23 on Malik Washington punt return. But on the ensuing kickoff, Antonio Gibson took it back 90 yards to put the Patriots back in front 30-27. This time, Borregales made a field goal, and that gave us the final score with a win of 33-27. It has always been said that the team that makes the fewest mistakes usually wins. The Steelers played a sloppy game at home against the Seahawks, and they paid for it royally, losing 31-17. Aaron Rodgers threw 2 interceptions, but the worst mistake was rookie running back Caleb Johnson not fielding a live ball on a kickoff early in the fourth quarter. The Seahawks recovered it in the end zone, and the Steelers never came close to threatening the rest of the game. That really hurt them. How am I going to call this one? Strange as this may sound, I think I have more faith in Drake May than I do in Aaron Rodgers. I'm going to go with the bias and go with the Patriots.
Wow. More faith in Drake May than Aaron Rodgers. That's quotable. That is quotable. All right, going with the bias. Going with the Patriots. Oh. All right, Benny. Raiders at Commanders. Bias plus score of 9 favors those Commanders, Benny.
Very good. Let's talk about the Commanders first. They are the home team. Last week, they struggled to get anything going in the first half against Green Bay, and they were only able to muster a long Matt Gay field goal before halftime. In the fourth quarter, Jaden Daniels was able to hit touchdown passes to Zach Ertz and Deebo Samuel, but the Packers defense then clamped down, and the Packers came back with scoring drives of their own. Daniels threw for a measly 200 yards. He got sacked 4 times. He got nothing from his running game, and they ended up losing to the Packers 27-18. Now for the Raiders, tough day for Geno Smith too. He threw 3 interceptions. The first one was on the first play from scrimmage on the opening possession of their home game against the Chargers. Very embarrassing. The closest they got was 3-3 in the first quarter, and they barely threatened after that, losing the game 20-9. Now they got to go into Washington. I believe that Jaden Daniels has a better chance of bouncing back in the home game than Geno will. So I'm going to go with the bias and go with the Commanders.
Yeah. Did you see they have a picture of Geno's face at the end of the game?
Yeah, he looks thoroughly disgusted.
Oh my goodness, he looked terrible, boy. Jeez. All right, going with the Commanders over the Raiders. Going with the bias. Uh-oh. I have 2 games that I chose as potential games of the week. This is one of them. Rams at Eagles. Bias plus score 4.5 favors the Rams.
Okay, this is a rematch of the playoff game last year. Interesting. Okay, Rams are the visitors. We'll talk about them first. Last week, they scored on a 45-yard Puka Nacua jet sweep. Excuse me, beautiful run. That was on the first possession.
Really was.
But they found themselves down 13-10 to the Titans at halftime. I was very surprised at that. Titans were really putting up a fight. They opened the second half with a field goal on their way to scoring on 4 of their next 5 second half drives. They dominated Tennessee 33-19. Matt Stafford had the Rams offense looking strong, threw for 298 yards and 2 touchdowns. And the run game looked really strong too, 149 total yards on the ground and another 2 touchdowns. So the Rams offense is humming. Now, the question I asked before the Eagles-Chiefs game was, would the Chiefs try to contain Saquon and challenge Hurts to beat them like they did in the Super Bowl? I personally believed that they would do the same thing, but with a different scheme. Try to execute it at least a different way. But I think they believed that the more sure thing that could really hurt them was Saquon. So I think they decided to take their chances with Hurts again. Almost worked, folks. And most Eagle fans, by the way, also actually disagreed with me. Anyway, Saquon did score a touchdown, but he only had 88 yards on the ground. Chiefs did a real good job with it. Meanwhile, Hurts scored on a tush push, but only threw for 101 yards and no touchdowns through the air, leaving this one up to the defense. They intercepted Mahomes once, but they only sacked him twice, and they only had 4 tackles for loss, even though their offense and specifically their running game is basically crippled. The interception led to the tush push touchdown, making the score 20-10, and basically put the game out of reach, even though Mahomes did complete a bomb to Tyquan Thornton with 3 minutes left, making the final score 20-17. I don't know what's going on with the Eagles offense, bro, but it's something. The Eagle fans choose to believe that it's not. They're all in this just win, baby. You know, a win is a win. That's all I keep saying. Why should we do this, that, and the other? And I'll agree. It's the NFL. So style points don't count. But something ain't quite right. Something ain't quite right. That's all I got to say. I'm picking the Rams to come in here to the link and take a win.
Oh, wow.
Going with the bias. Going with the Rams.
Bias. Going with the Rams. Ooh. Yeah, that Puka Nakua run was really, really nice, man. I had to admit.
Yeah.
And that one interception that was off of Kelsey's hands, I watched him stand there and look at his hands as the D-back was running it back, never attempted to really chase him. So yeah,
Not good.
the Chiefs have something to work on, and
Things are not good in Kansas City right now. Not at all.
and the only thing I'll say about the Eagles is it's early, so we'll see if they can develop a little bit. But all right, going with the bias, going with the Rams. Woo! This should be a decent one. I don't know about game of the week, but Broncos at Chargers, bias plus score of 15 favors the Chargers.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
This is, I don't know, this might be my game of the week right here. AFC West battle. One of these two teams is going to win the AFC West. I will declare that right now. I think when I did my preseason thing, I picked the Broncos to do it. But I'll tell you what, that Chargers defense ain't no joke. And Justin Herbert's playing really, really well. Chargers are going to be at home. And I believe you said they have the bias? Yes,
yeah.
they do. Okay, so let's talk about the Chargers. They visited Vegas last week, and they smacked their division rival Raiders in the mouth. They intercepted Geno Smith 3 times. They sacked him 3 times. They had 6 tackles for loss, and they stifled the running game to the point of Ashton Genty only having 11 carries. And this is supposed to be a run game centric offense led by Chip Kelly. They took it away from him. All the offensive scoring was in the first 3 quarters, and the Chargers comfortably cruised to a 20-9 victory. Yes, I wanted to make sure I had that score right again. It was 20-9. Nice, easy victory for the Chargers. Now, the Denver Broncos went score for score with the Indianapolis Colts for the first 3 quarters of their game. But Bo Nix threw an interception at 11:33 of the fourth quarter that led to a Colts field goal to cut Denver's lead to 28-26. This was a heck of a game. Then the Broncos kind of self-destructed. They missed a field goal with 3:19 left, and Lutz is pretty dependable, but he didn't get it done. That would have put them up by 5. Then they got penalized 15 yards after Indy missed a 60-yarder, allowing a retry from 45 yards that Indy put through the uprights and ended up winning the game. Oh, boy. I'm going to stick with my first mind. I really, really like the Broncos. I think Bo Nix and the boys will bounce back and have just enough defense to slow down the Chargers. I'm going to go with the Broncos against the bias.
Oh my goodness, going against the bias. I actually I do like the Chargers, man, you know.
Yeah.
But this should be a good game, no doubt.
No doubt.
Saints at Seahawks, bias plus score 11 favors the Seahawks.
Saints.
I know.
Saints lost to the 49ers and backup quarterback Mac Jones 26-21.
Mac and Cheese.
It was their second loss in a row at home with the ball in their hands at the end with a chance to tie or take the lead in the final minutes. This week and week 1, same doggone thing. In each game, they made costly mistakes, turnovers, drop passes, inaccurate passes to open receivers, penalties, blown coverages, and missed field goals. And that's just to name a few. Quarterback Spencer Rattler was sacked 3 times. The last one came on 4th and 1, and that basically ended their final possession, and they lost the game there. Now let's talk about the Seahawks. You know, I'm a Sam Darnold fan. Now, they didn't look quite right week 1, but I think they kind of got it together. Darnold dug himself a hole early on by tossing 2 interceptions in the first half to the Pittsburgh Steelers defense. And both of those interceptions turned into Pittsburgh scores. He was lucky to get to halftime only down 14-7. Fortunately, he was able to dig his way out with 295 yards and 2 touchdowns through the air, along with 105 yards and a touchdown on the ground by Kenneth Walker III. But the score that hurt the Steelers the most was recovery of an untouched live ball on a kickoff by special teamer George Holani. They owned the second half, and he left Pittsburgh in the dust, 31-17. Saints can't seem to get out of their own way. Seahawks seem to be on the right track, going with the Seahawks in the 12th man at home and with the bias.
And with the bias. I kept thinking when that guy let the ball go, I'm like, did he think it was a punt? You know, did he have that moment of confusion?
No, I believe he thought it was going once. First of all, he misplayed it, and it took a high bounce and was going over his head.
Right.
So rather than try to make an awkward catch of it, he felt like the momentum was going to take it through and out the end zone.
Oh, that's what you think? Okay.
Yeah, so he just walked off like that's, it's a touchback. But they kept running.
Yeah.
And they chased the ball and they recovered it just before it went over the end line. Yep,
Well,
that's a live ball, baby.
What I understand, you will not see him this week.
At least not back there.
No, not back there. All right. So you're going with the Seahawks, going with the bias.
Yes, sir.
All right. Cardinals at my beloved 49ers. Bias plus score 3.5 favors the Cardinals, Benny.
Ooh, this is another tough one.
Now, if you add in the 3 points for home field advantage, it would only be 0.5 in their favor.
You trying to sway me? This is a tough one, man. Another division matchup.
Yeah.
This division matchup's been rough, man. Teams are battling it out. Cardinals got to go to San Fran. Last week they went into halftime with a 20-3 lead, thanks to a sack of Bryce Young, scoop and score by Zach Collins, a second quarter drive topped off by a Kyler Murray to Michael Wilson touchdown pass, and a couple of field goals by their kicker, Chad Ryland. A third quarter rushing touchdown by James Conner was just enough to hold off a furious Carolina comeback that I talked about earlier, but it was simply a comeback attempt that fell short, and the Cardinals won the game 27-22. Now, the 49ers backup quarterback, Mac Jones, threw for 279 yards, a bit surprising, and he tied his career high with 3 touchdown passes. Very nice. He did all that while leading his team to a 26-21 win over the Saints on the road in New Orleans. The Niners defense got gashed for 99 yards on the ground by Alvin Kamara, but they were otherwise pretty solid. They had 3 sacks, and one of those sacks, like I just said, ended the game. So that was a win for the 49ers. Now, the question is, are they going to be able to handle Kyler Murray? Because Kyler Murray's giving teams fits here early on. Sorry, bro. Got to go with the bias. Going with the Cardinals.
You know, the funny thing is they keep talking about whether Purdy is going to be able to come back. And to me, quite honestly, I don't see where he's going to be a big improvement over Mac and Cheese, I thought Mac and Cheese is showing a lot more than what people expected. And, that's what happens in a Shanahan offense. You take these quarterbacks that people don't have a lot of faith in, and all of a sudden they actually perform pretty well. So,
well, you know what they say, bro? Small sample size against the Saints don't really count.
Oh, is that what they say? Against the Saints?
Well, no, I said against the Saints part. This is a small sample size. Purdy's got this much behind him, and Max got this much.
He's got this much in this offense, but he's got
Yes.
a lot in his background.
Not really a lot, no.
He was a starter.
He took over for faded out Cam Newton.
Well,
And they barely won game. They didn't win games.
well,
That offense was weak. That was a weak offense, and he didn't do anything to make it better.
yeah, and I don't think that offense, and wasn't that the offense with the Patriots where they had defensive coordinators running the offense?
Yes.
Yeah, so
Yes.
I give him a little bit, but from what I saw, I felt pretty good about him. So we'll see.
He played well, regardless of the fact that it was the Saints. And I'm sure the Shanahan offense will do him justice, just like Shane Steichen's offense is doing for Daniel Jones.
Right.
I think it's kind of the same thing. But if Purdy is able to play, and it's not really a pain management thing, because, it's one thing if you got bruised ribs pain management or you got a bruised knee. It's something else with that toe, man.
Yeah.
Moving around, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Man's got to be able to move in the pocket. And Lord knows if he has to scramble out of trouble, that could be a big problem. So
our linebacker retired because of turf toe.
Yeah. I wouldn't rush him back.
Yeah.
But if he can handle it,
I wouldn't either. So
if he shows he can handle it, I'm sure they'll put him back in there.
all right. Going with the bias, going against my beloved Niners. I can understand it. All right, here we go. Cowboys at Bears. Bias plus score of 18.5. Favorites the Cowboys.
Okay, I can see that.
Bears got embarrassed.
Boy, did they ever. They're at home. Basically, they got smoked in Detroit last week, 52-21. Believe me, that score is not close, and it wasn't even as close as that sounds. Caleb Williams threw 2 touchdown passes, both of them to Rome Odunze in the first half. And they somehow got a DeAndre Swift touchdown on the ground in the fourth quarter. But from the beginning of the game to the end of the game, Jared Goff and the boys beat the Bears defense like a drum in the Florida A&M marching band. Had to give you some props there. They gave up a whopping 511 total yards, 25 first downs, and 0 sacks. Add to that 2 turnovers and 8 penalties. What else can I say? The Bears defense is horrible. Now, the Dallas Cowboys had to scratch and claw to earn a 40-37 win against my New York Giants. Brother, was this not the most entertaining game of the week? Holy smokes. The lead changed hands 5 times in the fourth quarter alone. And all that happened before Brandon Aubrey kicked a 64-yard field goal to tie the score at 37 and send the game into overtime. Each team had 2 possessions in overtime before Russell Wilson got picked off by safety Donovan Wilson, after which Dak Prescott moved the Cowboys 42 yards in 4 plays, and Aubrey kicked the walk-off field goal from 46 yards out to win the game. Super exciting game. Incredible. Cowboys seem to have the wheels back on. Bears, obviously, wheels have fallen off. Got to go with the bias and go with the Cowboys.
Good stuff. Yeah, that was a heck of a game, man. No doubt. Jeez. Next up, Benny, we have Chiefs at Giants. Bias plus score of 2.5. 2.5. Favors the Chiefs.
2.5.
2.5.
Who would have thunk it?
So
we just got finished talking about Cowboys Giants. So let's look at it from the Giants side. First of all, yes, my New York Football Giants did show signs of life against Dallas. No, Russell Wilson ain't dead yet. The moon ball lives, and although my guys lost in overtime, I believe the plan for the proper ascension of Jackson Dart is still in place. I like it. I like it a lot. As long as they can play well, put points aboard, possibly win a game or two, hopefully, they can go on with the plan, which is to not start Dart until they feel he's actually ready. They don't want to be rushed into it. And as long as Russell Wilson proves that he can still move the Giants at least to look like they're competitive, I think they'll keep that in place. But eventually, before the season's over, we will see Jackson Dart. So now, oops, what happened here? Okay. So they got to play the Chiefs. In fact, the Chiefs have to come to the Meadowlands, to MetLife Stadium, and play my Giants. Now, the Chiefs are really hurt. Patrick Mahomes has very few competent playmakers, and the run game is in shambles. But the interception that went off Kelsey's hands in the beginning of the fourth quarter would have most likely been a touchdown and may have changed the outcome of the game. So I got to give him credit for that, even though there's no credit to really be given because he didn't catch the ball, nor did he chase the guy that intercepted it, which I was extremely disappointed with. I tell you what, brother, I just heard the point spread is 6 in favor of the Chiefs. I'm picking the Giants against the bias. Giants to win this one. It's going to be our first win, bro.
All right. I can see it. I can see it. Going with the Chiefs, going against the bias. No, you're going with the Giants, excuse me.
Giants against the bias.
Going with the Giants against the bias. All right. Good stuff. Good stuff. How about this? Are we together here?
Yes.
Lions at Ravens?
Yes. Is this one of your games?
This is what I consider the game.
Okay.
Lions at Ravens, bias plus score of 3. Only 3 favors the Ravens.
Okay.
Ugh, can't wait.
All right. Lions
Monday
will be
night,
visiting.
Benny. Monday night.
Monday night.
And
Oh,
let me
that's
not
even better.
remember or remind people that your Chief Giants is Sunday night.
Oh, we got the primetime game?
You got the prime time.
Oh, yeah, I got it. Hey, look. Primetime under the lights.
Yeah, baby.
Wounded Kansas City coming into town.
Yeah.
Oh, we got to take advantage of that. We got to take advantage of that. Yes, Giants. G-Men.
All right.
But anyway.
Monday night, Lions at Ravens.
Lions. So the Lions went to work on the Bears and new head coach Ben Johnson, almost like it was personal. I mean, they really took it to him. I'm sure it wasn't personal, but the Bears just happened to be the next opponent after the Lions had to listen to the critics question what was up with their offense all week long. Jared Goff had a field day with a super efficient 23 of 28. Yeah, that's right. 23 of 28 for 334 yards and 5 touchdowns. Not only that, Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery both scored on the ground and led the vaunted running game that totaled 30 carries shared by 6 different players and racked up a total of 177 yards on the ground. Their final score was 52-21. Now, the Ravens treated the Browns almost as bad as the Lions treated the Bears. Their final score was 41-17. However, they started off slow, only leading 10-3 at halftime. The second half was like a completely different game, other than the fact that the Browns never seemed to really want it. The Browns ended up punting 6 times, and one of those punts was blocked. Meanwhile, Lamar took advantage of the extra possessions and threw 4 touchdown passes. Browns never had a chance. You might really like this game. This could turn out to be a really exciting game. I kind of hope it does, but I have no doubt in my mind that the Lions are going to go to Baltimore and beat these boys. Going against the bias, taking the Lions. No doubt in my mind.
No doubt in your mind that the Lions are going to get it done.
And take some crab cakes home with them.
Ah, man. Okay. All right. What can I tell you? Derrick Henry gets his 20, 25 carries. You still think they can do it?
Oh, that's going to make it tough. But remember, I said Shane Steichen understands the assignment. He makes sure Jonathan Taylor gets between 20 and 25 touches every game. And when he does that, they win. I'm not even talking about Daniel Jones and how well he's playing. Jonathan Taylor is the heartbeat of that team. Derrick Henry is the heartbeat of this team. If he doesn't get his touches, yeah, Lions might embarrass them.
Somehow I don't see that. But okay, here we go.
Okay.
That's why I think it's going to be the game, one of the games of the week, and a potential Super Bowl matchup. Maybe.
What?
AFC, NFC.
Could be.
Could be.
I'm not going to say it won't be.
All right. There you go. Going against the bias, going with the Lions. That basically wraps up the week, Benny. And we have one piece of business that we always have to take care of once we have points being scored. And that is the Bias Plus Buster of the week, Benny.
Oh, we got a buster? Okay.
Which are those Detroit Lions?
Of course.
With a Bias Plus Buster score of 46. So, Lions. You know, they were pretty the fans and even the players were pretty, what's the word? They really were trying to embarrass their old coach with the Bears.
Well, I just said it seemed like it was personal. I don't think it was. I think it was just time to uncork the offense. Like week one, they were kind of out of sorts. Okay. But they fixed it during the week and they came out and they hammered the Bears. I mean, the Bears defense pretty much laid down for them, man. It's crazy. It wasn't the coach's fault.
It might not have been during the game, but from what I understand, after one of the scores, they had a coordinated situation, and that's where they were kind of making fun of the old coach or something like that. So, but all right,
touchdown celebration.
Yeah, they did something in the end zone, which was apparently, making fun of the old coach. So, and then you had the fans saying "F the coach." So.
Oh yeah, well, I expect it from the fans.
Yeah, well, there you go. All right, that actually wraps it up, Benny.
Okay.
So there we go. Any last words before we finish this up?
Go New York Liberty.
Go Aces. Could be the Aces and Liberty again.
Could be.
Could be. I know. All right. Let me get this done. I'll be in touch.
Later.
Later.